Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. So joining me today on the Caddo Convos is Owen Hill of the Lynd Group. Hi, Owen.
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Great to have you here. Let's talk about what's the Lynd Group? What is this place?
Yeah, so the Lynd Group, it was actually, I guess you could say, founded in Ventura, California by a man named Mike Mansfield. He's a family friend of mine, a great guy. He originally got into the industry wanting to help serve families, specifically those who are entering retirement. He found an unusual need for people to start planning out their Social Security timing, dealing with Medicare, and then cash flowing their income because, and this is something we'll probably talk about, the reality is you get into retirement and your paycheck disappears. And so you need to find a way to balance, your assets and how to live off of it. So yeah, to answer your question, the Lynd Group is a financial advisory firm. We specialize in helping retirees figure all that stuff out, make it through retirement. And we are call it a one-stop shop. We do everything from Social Security planning, Medicare planning. We do our investing. We build cash flows, income planning, and then we partner with a system, a website called Estate Gurus. They allow us to partner with local estate attorneys to put together some estate documents. So that's sort of the newest piece of our one-stop shop. But yeah.
And an important piece.
A very
right
important
now,
piece.
There's a lot of moving assets right now. Talk to me about what you're seeing out there in the market.
Yeah.
And as of this time of recording, we're in March of 26, in case you're catching this years later, and you already know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. If you catch this later, you get the benefit of knowing what happened, right? Yeah. So you made a really good point. We're seeing about 70% of the individuals in retirement. You could even go as broad as to say everybody outside of retirement. So the workforce, 70% of those people don't have actual retirement income plans, or estate planning done. No, I can go even more detailed and say 19% of the people entering retirement don't have an income plan or a plan for retirement. So what's going on in the market? Well, there's a lot of unknown. I think there's a lot of instability, confusion. There's a lot of worry, right? We've got a war breaking out in the Middle East. It's not a unique situation. This is definitely something that we've seen happen before. But as far as how to minimize it, how to mitigate that, there's a lot of solutions. There's a lot of things. And we're working with our clients. One of the benefits that we have created already is when they come through the door, it's a 3-part process, right? And it bodes well to times like this. And this is why. The first stage is sort of a fact and feeling and finding, similar to what we just did, right? Me and you got to know each other pretty well. We asked each other questions and sort of broke open everything. They call it the icebreaker. We call it our fact and feeling finding. So it allows us to kind of get to know the individual, understand how they tick, what makes them prioritize certain things, what their goals are. And then the second stage is building a base case. So we've taken all of the assumptions, everything that we've gathered, and then said, hey, this is sort of where we're starting. Your assets, what you have to look forward to, some big ticket items like RMD timing, Social Security timing, maybe some estate planning issues, an inheritance, selling of a home, selling of a business. So things like that. And then the third stage is, okay, we talked about base case, we got to know each other. We now need to implement this strategy. And so this is how we do it. So the 3-part strategy, the 3-part system that we create allows our clients to, and this is a roundabout way of answering your question, not stress out about the unknown that we're dealing with right now, right? In fact, I got off a call with an individual yesterday. He was calling me. He's a little bit unsure about what to do. He's on the fence about retiring and not retiring. The benefit to him, and it was a kind of a refreshing conversation to have, was I essentially said the same thing to him that I was saying to you. we've already created the avenue, the roadmap for you to retire. Yes, maybe we planned that you were going to stay 3-ish more years at your job. That's fine. If you decide that now you want to retire, it doesn't really matter what's happening in the market because we've already built a strategy that allows you to do so. We're taking pressure off of sort of the variables that we can't control. So I hope that kind of answers the question. What
Sure.
goes on in the market? A lot.
Well, and we're at a time where we have boomers, a lot of boomers retiring. And for people like you and I, and I'm in my 50s. You're a bit younger, but I'm like very much the sandwich. I have college age kids, retired parents. So let's say, are there a lot of people like me talking to you, or is it my parents that are reaching out?
It's actually a pretty good split.
Yeah.
I think that your generation is actually pretty proactive. A lot of our clients are probably your parents, so already in retirement or basically at that door. But what we're starting to see is a lot more people coming to our seminars who are younger, so 50, even 40. Those individuals that are trying to say, you know what, I saw my parents go through this. I know that it was very confusing. It was stressful for them. So I want to get kind of a head start and figure this stuff out beforehand. And I think there's a lot of really good value to that. The fact that your generation is seeing what's happened to their parents and then learning from that and then, giving themselves an opportunity to get ahead of it. It's awesome. But yeah, I would say it's a pretty decent split between who we interact with and what we're seeing in terms of, who's interested and who's not.
So, and there are a lot of different business structures. Tell me about the Lynd Group. Is it a corporation? All the things you mentioned, it was started and you met the founder. Tell me about the business.
Yeah. So Mike Mansfield's actually a family friend. So the Lynd Group itself is actually a family-owned and operated firm. And so we sort of are carrying on that tradition in the sense that Tana, the other advisor I work with here at the Caddo office, is actually my mom. So I get a lot of jokes and I get a lot of, I don't know.
Having met you both,
yeah.
Y'all look like good friends.
Yeah. Well, people are like, why do you call your mom Tana? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm trying to keep it professional and all this stuff. So it's just the nature of what it is. But yeah, we're a family-owned RIA firm, and we were trying to keep it that way. We want it to be, give you the feeling that it's a relationship. We don't want to get to the point where the size is too much for an individual advisor to know you personally. Right? We aren't competing to be the biggest. We're competing to be the best. We're competing to be those advisors that have a relationship and know you and know exactly how to help solve your specific issues. So again, we just try to keep it family owned and operated, and so that's how I met Mike is through Tana, my mom, and he's been great. He's been a great mentor and boss to me and help curating what I know to this day. So I plan to keep it going.
There's a lot of information out there. And I heard you mention seminars. So walk me through a typical seminar, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to sit through a seminar, but there's value in showing up and there's an education. Tell me how you educate people in your seminar setup.
Yeah, you made a good point. Nobody wants to sit through a whole seminar, right? Usually you get a steak dinner and a lecture on why you're doing something wrong or what you need to purchase in order to make your life work. Our seminars, I'm biased, but I think are actually really informative and really interesting. The recent ones that we've been doing are catered towards what I just mentioned to you a little bit ago, that 3-part process on how we build an income plan. So the way it works for us is we usually have a group anywhere between 20 to 30 people show up, and we actually are able to do it in this Caddo building. Actually, it's very useful. And the topic is that building an income plan. So we'll talk about Social Security, we'll talk about Medicare, we'll talk about estate planning, and then we'll talk about building that income plan, and then how we connect both mitigating your risk and tax planning, things of all that sort. So what do we do? How do we do it? Well, we try to make it enjoyable. We don't want to just stress the market or an investment, because those things are fun, but a lot of times you get the information, goes right over your head, you leave, and you never do anything with it. We want to provide actual tangible value for these people to actually take something home with them. And so that's the reality. A lot of people take something home. Maybe it's something about Medicare, Social Security, timing, or even building an income plan. And then they'll call us a year or two later and say, hey, you know what? I did this thing that you guys told us to do and it worked out. But, I think we're at the point where we want to start getting more serious about this. And so they now have the understanding of how our system works, and it's just a really easy way for them to work in and let us help them out. So
you mentioned you were here at the Flower Mound location of Caddo Office Reimagined.
Yeah.
And we're actually in the conference room right now. You can probably hear it sounds like we're in a conference room because we're not in our studio this week. This space, you chose this, or your company chose this as a location. What's special about the Caddo Office Reimagined for your business?
So we looked at a bunch of different places, different offices, and you got to weigh a couple things. You want the client to be able to walk in the door and feel like they're walking into an inviting place. You want them to feel like there's some legitimateness, if that's a word. Forgive me.
It is now.
We'll use it, right?
Yep.
There needs to be something that the client feels about the space that you're in. And so when we came and toured, we got that immediately. We got that impression that this place feels presentable, it feels legit, it feels real. And then on top of that, they offer a lot of really cool amenities. So it allows us, like I mentioned, we can do our seminars right here. So when people come to these seminars, they know exactly where they're going to be meeting us. They've seen it already. So it's not new to them. It's not uncomfortable. So we really liked that aspect. This is also super local to me and Tana as well. So the fact that it's just down the street from us, it's easy for me to get here and meet with clients. And then it's also gives us the ability to do things like this, podcasts. It gives us access to other individuals in the building who have small businesses or are doing certain things to build connections and create a really nice work environment for clients to show up to.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You didn't just wake up one day and here you are, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your path to get to a place in your career where you're sitting across from me smiling. I know it's clear that you enjoy what you do.
I do.
So how did you get here?
Yeah. I share this story in the seminar actually, so it might be a little bit of a spoiler, but
that's all right. Come to the seminar and see more.
Yeah, exactly. Come to the seminar, you'll see more. I love this story though. When people ask me what got you here. When I was young, I watched a lot of James Bond movies. Whether that was a good thing for me at that age, I don't know, but that's a different conversation. I loved James Bond. I thought 007 was the coolest dude on the planet, right? He walked around with a lot of moxie and courage and bravery. He was so cool. He did all these great things. And so I thought that I was going to be 007 when I was younger. I was dead set on it, right? I was going to go into the military. I was going to do everything I could to get myself into that position. But here I am, right? I'm not a secret agent. However, a secret agent would say that exact thing.
Of course they would.
But instead, I realized that I liked serving. I liked being able to provide a value. Now, 007 and me, we do completely different types of service. I tend to keep people alive and help them enjoy retirement, and he does his other thing.
He retires people.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He retires people. So secret agent got me into the mindset of I want to help serve people. I want to do this thing. Maybe I want to put on a suit every day. I don't know what it was. But eventually I went to college. I didn't go to MI6. I studied finance. And at school is where I really focused in on, okay, I want to be in the business of helping individuals build their retirement. I want to get into wealth management. And so with that being the case, I reached out to Mike Mansfield again, family friend who I know has built a really impressive practice firm of his own, the Lynd Group. And I mentioned to him I would be interested in seeing if he'd let me come on for an internship. And so I interned with him over the summer. I got to see how he did things and his life and just the firm itself. And I really enjoyed it. One thing I tell a lot of people is that summer I got to see a lot of really interesting things. I've seen the bad, right? I've seen individuals come into the office who are looking for solutions that just are sometimes not possible, right? They didn't do enough when they were younger to save and put money away. And so they're looking for something that's just, it's not there. right? And that's the sad part of the job, right? You just don't have a solution. You can't come up with one. The answer is sometimes a non-answer. But then I also got to see the other side of it. A couple comes in, they have big aspirations, big goals. They want to retire. They've worked so hard for 50 straight years and they just want to retire. They meet with Mike. I was there in the meeting, so you could say they met with me, but at the time I was young, younger. I'm still young. I say that as if I've grown up. I'm all old. And,
we don't all start at 50.
Right.
Yeah.
And they go through the system. They work with Mike. We build out these reports. We build out the plan. And then on the day that it all kind of goes into place, they retire and then they get to sit back and be like, wow, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. The stress is gone. I'm doing it. I'm living that dream. And so that little piece, I got to see it on I would say a handful of times. It was pretty unique in the sense that I was able to be there for 5 different clients retiring and moving into that transition. But it was an inspiring thing. I realized in that moment that this is something I could do for the rest of my life. If I could get really good at answering these questions, delivering a solution for these individuals to get into retirement stress-free and reach their goals, help them do the things they want to do, that could be a really, what's the word I'm looking for? Fulfilling. Thank you.
That's the word I use for what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Fulfilling career, right? And that's all I want. I just wanted to be able to do something where I woke up every day and I felt like I was helping somebody. And so that's what this is, right? The long answers, I wanted to be a secret agent. I wanted to help save the world. And now I found a way to do that in a similar way, but I'm doing it on a more secular basis with an individual. So that's the answer to that question.
So, important question.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Bond? The actor who plays Bond.
Yeah. I think everyone's got their own favorite, right? And I think it has a lot to do with the generation you grew up in.
Of course.
With that being said, Daniel Craig is my James Bond. I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
I got to go with Daniel Craig there.
Yeah, and of course, my generation, I go back to, I was born in the 70s, so Roger Moore was kind of the big deal there. And you're right. Daniel Craig kind of knocked it out of the park. The first blonde Bond.
Yeah, he did a great job.
But interesting. What an interesting inspiration. So for people who are listening and who are inspired to reach out to you and enjoy your story, what's the best way? How do you like to be reached? You like to go to the website? Tell me about the path to you.
Yeah, it's a great question. There's not one way that we necessarily want people to find us. I think it's beneficial if you can go look at our website, see who we are, see what we do, what we have to offer. We want the transparency to be there. So we want you to understand who we are and how we work and everything that goes into it. So you can find us at our website, the Lynd Group.com.
Spell that for them.
Yeah, the Lynd Group, so THE and then Lynd, LYND Group.com, and that's where we'll find our website.
Great.
Otherwise, you can call our office anytime. We'd love to chat and see what we can make work for you.
At the end of the day, let's say you've had a busy week. Who have you helped that week? Like what's a typical week for you and the people you're helping?
Yeah, a typical week is lately been pretty busy. I think
it's a good thing.
Right. As of right now, we're doing a lot of these seminars, and so we're meeting with a lot of new clients. And so the week has been filled up with first meetings, and then we usually have a couple second meetings filtered in there. So you could say, we're meeting with individuals sort of in their late 60s or sorry, I should say late 50s, late 60s. Because
people like me.
Yeah, we're right at the cusp of getting some onboarding, some newer clients working in the door. And then, I probably reached out and made 100 calls to just clients that are worried or nervous about something going on, trying to answer questions. And so, to answer your question, I feel like I probably did a seminar. I probably made a video for our clients' YouTube channel. I had a handful of first meetings throughout the week, met a bunch of really good people, and hopefully setting some second appointments to meet with them as well.
Excellent. So that's the week in the life of Owen. So if you want to be part of Owen's life so he can solve your problems, reach out. So final thoughts as we leave the show, Owen. It's been great having you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being able to jump on these podcasts and share what we do. I think it's a very unique industry. There's a lot of advisors out there, and I'm sure there's a million great ones. We try to separate ourselves because we focus on, again, the planning piece, right? In the seminar, we talk about it. I keep referring back to the seminar, but it's just so recent. It's recency bias.
It's a powerful communication tool.
Yeah. We talk about the planning piece, right? We all call ourselves financial planners. We all call ourselves advisors, all these things, but make sure you're getting yourself an advisor that does the true planning, deals with Social Security, Medicare, income planning, estate planning, everything. You want all of your dots, you want all your T's crossed and your I's dotted is what I'm trying to get at. And so that's where we jump in.
Excellent. Well, Owen, it's been great having you on the show, hearing the history of the Lynd Group and what you do at this important time with all the baby boomers and all the turnover.
Yeah.
There's a massive amount of wealth that is transferring, whether they have a plan or not.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagine. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.